gutters, ditches, creeks, streams, low spots, high spots, gentle slopes, rolling hills, new roads, new neighbors, new stores, new parking lots. Everything around us influences our flood risk. Know your risk. Know your zone. KnowYourZone.org.
Clean sewers can save you money, protect your property, and health. This is Healthy You. I'm your host, Sharon Stevens. In a minute, I'll tell you why your participation is needed.
Did you know everyone in the St. Louis area lives in a flood zone? Not a floodplain, but a flood zone, an area where there's either low, moderate, or high risk of flooding. Learn about your zone and understand your risk at KnowYourZone.org.
Trash floating in sewers is disgusting. It clogs drains, increases flooding, and spreads germs. If the community helped keep sewers clean, everyone would benefit. Jay Hoskins, Assistant Director of Engineering Environmental Compliance, is here to explain why trashy sewers are a problem. Welcome, Jay. Let's talk a little bit about what people should do with their trash.
Right. So we want to handle trash the way we've been taught that trash should have to be taken care of, right? You pick it up, put it in the trash bag, handle it, and let the trash man take it away if you have good trash service. If you don't, make sure that we're doing and taking care of our trash, so it doesn't end up in our waterways and our environment, right? So when we have trash that enters in the environment, it has a couple different ways that it can hurt the environment, hurt people.
Such as?
Yeah. So the first one is that in the St. Louis system, in the St. Louis area, it can cause a blockage in the sewer system, right? So if you have a blockage based on trash, what happens? Well, the water can't get through the sewer system, can't get through the pipes. People become flooded. It can cause property damage. It can cause backup water to be, contaminated in a place that mosquitoes and other, really undesirable creatures can hang out. So what we want is for people to, pick up their trash and keep it out of the sewer system so that we don't have these blockages. The other piece about trash is the chemical piece of it, right? So especially, you hear a lot of these days about plastics. And plastics breaking down and what happens to plastics. So not only are the big levels, like when I was a kid, we talk about plastics, there was this picture of the duckling that had, the six-pack, ring around it. This is what happens when you don't take care of your trash, right? And that's still an important part of this, is making sure that wildlife don't get caught in trash. But we're also having a discussion now about emerging contaminants. And what happens when these plastics are degraded by the sun and they break down into smaller chemicals, and the impact that has on the environment. We're still really figuring that out, but the impact, scientists tell us, could be pretty significant. So it's something that's to be aware of and to make sure that, like, we all do our part, that we're all picking up our plastics and our papers and putting them where they need to be.
So it's kind of a hand-in-hand project.
It is. Yeah, it is a hand-in-hand project.
Jay, thanks for your time. Learning that trash-filled rivers and creeks damage the environment costs us money and affects our health, that was a reality check. But there's more, and your co-worker Roland has more information. Back in a minute.
Did you know 1 out of every 5 flood insurance claims comes from an area not considered at high risk for flooding, and that the average flood damage claim is about $35,000? Learn about your zone and understand your risk at KnowYourZone.org.
Roland Beal is also with MSD. He's an environmental specialist who coordinates the St. Louis County Phase 2 permit activity. He's here to take us to school. Welcome, Roland.
Thanks, Sharon.
Before we get started, if you could tell us exactly what you do and how it relates to this issue.
Sure, thanks. Well, I work with unincorporated St. Louis County and several municipalities and partners in the area to educate the community on stormwater pollution awareness and education. Stormwater pollution is a big problem in our area, everything from yard waste, pet waste, not picking that up off the ground, and trash from illegal dumping and littering is a large pollutant stormwater runoff. Also too, winter de-icing activities, leftover salt left over on our driveways, sidewalks, and streets. When that's not picked up, that's going to cause pollution. Small items, even like plastic bags from littering, can get wrapped around animals in our creeks and streams. Large items, some illegal dumping, such as tires and appliances, those things can block creeks and streams, their flow, and impact aquatic life.
So trash in the waterways is a big problem.
Yes.
Okay. How do you introduce yourself? I'm Roland and I'm in trash.
Yep, I'm Roland, and again, I work with the community education outreach and trying to make everyone aware of the pollution in our creeks and streams from stormwater runoff, and trying to make everyone change behaviors and on how they address trash in our environment with community cleanup events and presentations and addressing just education issues with different target audiences in our area.
Mm-hmm. And doesn't trash in the waterways cause greenhouse gases?
It can have a lot of impacts. For example, it could impact water quality by, reducing the oxygen in our creeks and streams. For example, fertilizers, if that gets, from maybe too much, from someone dumping their spring cleaning waste, and they have these leftover fertilizers in the garage. If they dump that on the ground, it can end up in our creeks and streams, and that can harm the environment by causing less oxygen in our creeks and streams, and algae blooms, and they can have all sorts of alternative impacts to the environment.
How hard is it to get people to understand what you're saying and that you're talking about health and safety?
That's a great question. It can be difficult because a lot of the creeks and streams, people don't see them unless you get out, unless you go out and in your backyards and in our green spaces and experience the wildlife and the habitats. And if you don't see these things, you don't know what they are. Some people see like algae blooms, maybe from too much fertilizer in your creeks and streams, and think, oh, that's pretty. But what that's doing is harming the environment by, for example, eliminating, reducing the oxygen levels in our creeks and streams.
Visually, what do you use to help out?
Visually, well, for example, just getting out the large cleanup events, getting large numbers of volunteers out on a Saturday, and picking up the trash, wearing shirts. I'm picking up trash. I'm helping the environment. Maybe having a watershed festival after a cleanup event, where we have information booths, and those are all visual things we can do to educate the community on why we're here, why we're picking up trash, and help the environment.
When you have a lot of trash in the water, how does that make your job harder?
It does. It can because one of the things we want to do is improve water quality, and if there's too much trash, we have to have more trash cleanup events. We have to coordinate more, and if there's more trash, there's more work to do.
Okay, so every once in a while there's a ballot issue, maybe looking for some more money for MSD. How do you explain to people that this is a good thing?
Oh, absolutely, sure. Because in addition, we have a permit requirement to help to address stormwater management in our area and stormwater quality issues. But if we don't clean up our creeks and streams, and it's gonna definitely for example, kids don't have a place to go outside, experience our environment, and they can just definitely just not a place to go out and experience our environment. Mm-hmm. Enjoy our recreation. For example, down south, Castlewood Park, if we have trash in our waterways, no one's going to go out to parks and enjoy the parks we have.
Right. What kind of health concerns are we talking about?
Sure. Well, mostly aquatic life can be impacted.
Mm-hmm.
If we have trash blocking our creeks and streams, like large trash items like appliances and tires, that's going to impede critical stream flow for certain aquatic life to survive.
How about for us?
Yeah, for us, well, we don't have a place to get out in the environment. If there's fertilizers, maybe from trash or paints or something like that, from an old paint can or something like that, they have chemicals in it, that can impact our health potentially if we get in contact with our skin, and it can definitely cause problems for us.
Okay. Well, this is a place where you can say, what it is that you do and what you would like people to do to help out.
Yeah, get out and volunteer at one of our cleanup events. We have 3 large cleanup events a year. We have one up north called the Confluence Trash Bash near the Mississippi and Missouri River confluence, cleaning up maybe about a couple hundred square miles of green space, vacant properties, creek and streams banks. We have down south the Merrimack Operation Clean Stream, cleaning up the lower Merrimack watershed, And then we also have the Rear to Repair Trash Bash coming up on October 26th. We're ramping up working on that right now. And you can get out and volunteer. We give you shirts, we give you a free t-shirt, you get gloves, bags. You can meet with a team leader where we tell you how to be safe when picking up trash in the environment. And those are all things you can do. We work with a lot of big partners. We work with the Open Space STL, they're kind of our cleanup manager, Missouri Stream Team, our Earth Waste Center, the Great Rivers Greenway, and so that's one thing you can do. Get out and volunteer and help pick up trash.
Okay, that's good for adults and teenagers. What about little kids? Can they help out too?
Absolutely. I like to say it's an all ages event from 7 to 70. So yeah, little kids can get out too, and we love to see them out there. So
Okay.
absolutely.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you being here.
Thanks.
MSD Project Clear is actively working to keep the sewer system clean, and they need you to work with them. When the waterways are filled with trash, it costs us all money. It damages the environment, and it makes us sick. This has been Healthy You. I'm Sharon Stevens. Thanks for watching the Open Source TV.
Have you heard the news? Everyone in the St. Louis region lives in a flood zone. Not a floodplain, but a flood zone. An area where there's either a low, moderate, or high risk of flooding. And not just from rivers. Heavy rain can be enough. And get this, most homeowners' policies don't cover flood damage, which means, on average, $35,000 coming out of your pocket. Learn about your zone, understand your risk, and make an informed decision about protecting your home. KnowYourZone.org.